We've been waiting about 4 years for this report. We knew the data that would be kind of forming the basis for the report, but we didn't know what the agency from the CDC would end up recommending to the community. So I think that overall, I feel very encouraged, and I feel that the community's concerns are affirmed as far as the benzene, the sulfur dioxide, methyl mercaptan, and other reduced sulfur compounds that can be associated with health symptoms. So I think that that was very affirming to see the recognition of those concerns. I do also think that residents as a whole will feel affirmed by what's in there, because the Agency for Toxic Substances and Disease Registries, ATSDR, they did really articulate that yes, there are some real risks here for residents. And I think the only thing that really is lacking for me is that I'd like to see more about the sulfur dioxide in particular, because that compound will not go down over time. It will only increase as more landfill gas is collected.
Okay. What about you? Do you have anything?
And everything that Becky has talked about here, we need to have some more testing, independent testing going on to help back us up. The city is kind of let us down. Well, I'm not going to say they let us down. They've been working on things and everything, but they've been dragging their feet a whole lot. In my opinion, I live right across the street from it, and there's been some really, really bad mornings. I've took drives over to the Tennessee side. They're experiencing a lot of it too. And I know everything is expensive for all this to go on, but the community health concerns, don't put $1 in front of it. Let's make it happen.
And the city said that the testing that was done is dated. What are your thoughts on that? They say it's from 2020, from 2022, and we are now in 2025, about to enter 2026. So what do you think about that?
Well, on one hand, the sulfur dioxide levels would only go up as the landfill gas collection system collects more landfill gas. So in that sense, we may actually see a worsening of concerns. As far as the benzene levels and other compounds are concerned, I know that they're still monitoring continuing, and so I do not know if the agency would kind of update health risks to be more current based on ongoing collection. That landfill, however, the risk associated with the landfill itself, I mean, that's going to be present for a long time. So it's just so key that the infrastructure that has been put in place to collect the gases is maintained well, that the expert panel reports recommendations continue to be followed. So we need to see a geomembrane cap go on top, and all that we can do to collect the benzene, the mercaptans, the other chemicals that tend to enter our community and are of high concern. And then we of course need to see the sulfur dioxide emissions addressed as well. So I think overall though, that saying that, well, that data is old, I mean, that's just a spin that's being put on the data. People know that when they smell the landfill, they feel sick. And they know that benzene is a chemical of concern for all sorts of risks. So, yeah, it's a disappointing response, I think, but not unexpected. Yeah.
This is an old report. 2022, it's 2025 right now. We've got our new reports out, and it'll back up everything that we have to say here. So,
do you mean our data? We have monitors running that are.
Yes, we've got monitors running 24/7. So we've got that covered. It's facts. So here we go again. We need to update things. And we've been quiet about this situation. We've been watching, we've been listening, kind of like a little watchdog. We're here. We haven't left. So need to step up our game and make things happen faster. I know they're working on it, and I give them credit on that, but we need to have some stuff going on a little bit better. The settlement and stuff is just crazy how it's settling. So that's about all I have to say on it.
So talk to me a little bit about that data that you guys collect on your own. What do you track?
Sure. So back in 2023, Appalachian Voices had approached us about partnering on an EPA-funded small community grant. And so we had, there's so much history to this, it's hard to cover so much at once, but we've had monitors running, a monitor in Shakesville area and a monitor in Fairmount. And so we've been looking at chemicals of concern that we noticed looked like they were kind of reaching levels that were worth attention in the EPA data. So we've been looking at ammonia, sulfur dioxide, total VOCs, a couple other things, particulate matter. And the sulfur dioxide has continued to be over the Clean Air Act thresholds, which is a similar threshold to the kind of the lowest level used by the Agency for Toxic Substances and Disease Registry. So those are running, and we've also been testing for benzene as well. We coordinate with Virginia Tech. There's a researcher there that runs analysis on the sorbent tubes that we run. So that's kind of an independent source of data. It's not, of course, on site at the landfill, but it is into locations that tended to be affected by the landfill gases pretty heavily.
Okay. And
Yeah.
have you found any concerning kind of numbers so far with that?
So I think, I believe that the only chemical where we've really been kind of concerned about the levels ongoing is sulfur dioxide. And that is something that, unless there was sulfur removal technology put in place on the landfill gas before it is flared, there's not really another way to control that I'm aware of. So, yeah, I think it was affirming to see that the agency also flagged that chemical as something of concern for respiratory issues, for asthma. And I just touched your microphone. For respiratory issues, for asthma, breathing, lung issues, et cetera.
And the leukemia.
And the leukemia from the benzene,
it's
yeah.
supposed to be a non-cancerous, but it's linked to leukemia too. So
The benzene,
that's pretty.
yeah.
The benzene.
Yeah.
That's pretty serious.
Yeah.
So between the city's report, your data, and the new report that came out, do you believe that the community has already been affected to some capacity?
Oh yes, most definitely. They've been affected over it. Their quality of living. I mean, how would you like it? Anybody around this area, Johnson City, Kingsport, come up sometimes. Especially a mile radius. We have some people who argue with us. They don't smell it, and that's great. That's great. Come to my house. Let me take you over on the Tennessee side on Brewer Road, Fairmont Community. I'll change your mind. Yeah, you smell it and then you thinking, wow, your way of life and everything. Oh, it affects me. And I'm in pretty good health. But when I go outside and it take your breath, no. That's no way of life.
Yeah, the full report even mentioned, so it covers some of the concerns that were raised by the community in their own symptoms they were reporting. And that was probably from 2021, 2022.
Yeah.
And, there's even a sentence in the full report that mentions, people being concerned because they're watching their pets suffer and even die as they're choking as the landfill gases are entering their home. And so this, of course, was when the landfill gases were the worst. So this was 2020 to 2022. But that potential is always there if the landfill is not maintained from here on out. I think as far as impacts now, I still get messages in my inbox about, my husband was just diagnosed with this type of cancer and we're concerned, we smelled the landfill gases coming in our home for 2 years. Or, hey, I just got diagnosed with this thyroid condition. Could this be associated? I live right by, the landfill or a flare or whatever. So we continue to receive concerns from residents that there's an association and a link, between what they're smelling and feeling sick when they're smelling and then what they're being diagnosed with.
And I'd like to throw something out here. If anybody would like to reach me, they can get a hold of me through Facebook, Messenger, or whatever. If any of the city council members would like to get a hold of me, they know my phone number too. And I'd be more than glad to get with them and help them out too. We're here to help them. We're not here. Hope for Bristol is here for the community, both sides of the city, Bristol, Virginia, and Bristol, Tennessee.
That's a great point, because we were really instrumental in advocating for a panel of experts that would come in and tell Bristol, hey, this is what needs to happen with your landfill. We know this is above and beyond your abilities. This is what we recommend that you do. So yes, that's been part of our advocacy, absolutely.
So another part that I read in the press release is that they want, or one of their main goals is transparency to the community. Do you guys believe that the city of Bristol, Tennessee, and Virginia have been transparent to the community?
Tennessee, yes. Virginia, no. Yeah.
They have some, but it could be a whole lot better. We need to have more public meetings, specifically for the landfill. Last time we had one, not many people showed up. I was kind of disappointed. But yes, that is very important.
Yeah, I do appreciate that whenever the city does hold an open house, that we have the opportunity to speak directly with like the
Yes.
engineers or the air monitoring consultants about what they're seeing and what's happening. But it all along it was really kind of tooth and nail trying to get access to reports. I mean, we still have to submit
Yeah.
and pay for Freedom of Information Act requests, to environmental agencies to get reports on what's happening between the city and regulatory agencies and about the landfill. So, yeah, there's a little bit of information available through the city landfill website, but it's minimal. So,
Very limited.
yeah, it is.
And so, moving forward, what do you hope happens between the city and the landfill and everything like that?
Well, they still have a lot of work. All we can ask for is them to stay after it, continue it, stay on top of it. Have some more tests done, have some more independent tests run. And we have a lot of work to do.
I have a list for you. I would like to see the Department of Health initiate an epidemiology
Yes.
study to understand the rates of cancers and other health conditions, specifically respiratory. I would like to know if we see clusters of any of those conditions in areas where the EPA did monitoring and they recognized that there were elevated levels of chemicals. I think too that the ATSDR report, they mentioned things like air purifiers can be of help to residents when they're affected by the landfill. Bristol, Tennessee, they made air purifiers available to residents through United Way when the landfill emissions were really bad. And Hope for Bristol and other individuals and nonprofits work together to provide, faith communities work together. Many people came together to fund and provide air purifiers to homes where they could not afford to have those otherwise.
How many did Virginia side offer?
I can't, Bristol, Virginia?
Yes.
Yeah, and unfortunately when the
Zero.
city, zero, the city was approached and asked. So I think that it would be nice to see the city recognize that that would be a relief option to residents and to provide that. I'm sure there's grants they could apply for to fund that. If not, maybe we'll be looking into that at Hope for Bristol.
Yes.
And I think finally, we need to see the expert panel recommendations completed. So we need to see a geomembrane cap on that landfill. And I'd like to know if those engineers would have recommendations that could help to decrease the sulfur dioxide emissions that we see into the community, as that's not going to go away.
Yes.